Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Border Patrol impact. Day 2 of immigration operations in North Carolina raises new questions. Who is being targeted and how is it impacting businesses and school attendance?
Plus, voting map challenge. Today, we could find out if a newly redrawn voting map will be used in next year's elections.
And a bit of a complicated weather pattern. A cold front sliding southward will bring us some cooler air for tomorrow. It's likely to move back and forth, bringing us some chances for rain and some roller coaster temperatures. I'll walk you through it.
Protecting constitutional rights. Community groups are calling on businesses to protect their staff and their customers. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Levingood. Thank you so much for joining us. This comes on day 2 of immigration operations in the Triangle. We have team coverage this afternoon on this operation that's happening, but we first want to go to WRAL's Sean Gallagher in Raleigh. Sean, tell us a bit about the Fourth Amendment Workplace Pledge.
Yeah, Chris, there was a protest here today basically calling for protections. We're standing here outside of Duke Regional Hospital on Roxborough here in Durham, where those folks came together to urge Duke Health to sign a Fourth Amendment pledge, which would protect staff, patients, and visitors from immigration enforcement. Now, their call comes after these videos from yesterday. Border Patrol and immigration enforcement taking place in Durham and Raleigh with no clear idea who was arrested or why. And it led to protests later in the evening, people taking to the streets of Raleigh because of this, and their voices aren't quieting down today. The group was outside Duke Regional on Roxborough in Durham just about an hour or so ago, urging the health system to sign that pledge because they say these hospitals are a prime target for Border Patrol.
So there is reason to believe that Duke is a target, especially considering that a lot of this is a community-based hospital and we see a lot of immigrant families come there and get care. And even the location we are is very immigrant heavy as well. So there is no question that Duke is a target because of the people they have in there.
Now, Andrea Cazales is a nurse in Durham, and she says she's the daughter of immigrants as well, and says the fear alone of immigration enforcement is jeopardizing children and newborn health care at hospitals across the area, with families worried they could be targeted if they come in. Now, I put in requests with Duke Health and Duke University to see what they're doing as it relates to immigration enforcement and any message they have for students, faculty, staff, other workers at the hospital, and yes, any patients or visitors who come in as well who have fears about immigration enforcement and are still waiting for a response. Outside of Duke Regional, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
And we checked with Wake County Schools and found out attendance is down likely because of the ongoing Border Patrol operation. So we caught up with Wake School Superintendent Robert Taylor, and we asked about the numbers and what school leaders are doing about that. That's where we join us now with Ken Smith to talk a little bit more about what Dr. Taylor had to say, Ken.
You know, Chris, we're still trying to get solid numbers in terms of how many students actually stayed home yesterday and possibly today. Dr. Taylor, like so many school leaders, are concerned about students not coming to school. This issue, of course, prompting widespread protests, not to mention Border Patrol encounters with people in parking lots, in neighborhoods. Well, Dr. Taylor says he remains concerned about students missing school. He says likely out of fear. Dr. Taylor says his role and the role of all school leaders is to reassure parents and students that the district is here for them.
It's unfortunate that students were afraid to come to school. Dealing with these kinds of things, it creates a lot of trauma for students. And so our responsibility is to make sure we're there for those students in any of those areas where they need support. And we just wanted to reaffirm that.
Taylor says as long as these immigration operations go on, he believes attendance will continue to be down. He says this is valuable instructional time students and teachers cannot get back. We will continue to monitor this story for any updates out of Wake County schools throughout the day and report any new information on air and online.
And WRAL asked leaders at the Durham News Conference what happens after someone's detained. We were told information is uploaded onto the Immigration and Customs Enforcement database, but no other information was provided. WRAL will continue to push for answers and bring them to you when we get them.
We're working to learn the name and condition of a teenager who was shot in Fayetteville. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was at the scene of Winlock Drive just before 11 p.m. Evidence markers were seen along the road. An officer on scene told us there were bullet holes in a parked SUV. No word on any arrests.
Well, if you look outside, the sun's out with the afternoon temperatures well above normal. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at when we could see some record highs.
And we could see some really warm temperatures associated with this front, but it's going to do a couple of things for us. One, overnight last night, we really warmed up because the warm front was to our north. Now notice the cold front is sliding through. So by tomorrow, we're going to see winds coming out of the north. We'll see temperatures drop by about 10 degrees. This front's going to stay to the south, and then eventually by Friday, it lifts northward again, bringing us some really warm temperatures for the weekend. So it's all going to be about the back and forth over the next several days. We take a live look at Fenton and Cary. Of course, we started with some light showers this morning. Nice and clear out there. Ice skating rink is open. And, even though temperatures are going to warm up to close to records over the weekend, it's still going to be skatable out there. Mid-60s right now. Northeast wind at 6 miles per hour. So that front has started to shift southward just a little bit, but we'll still end up with highs in the low 70s this afternoon. It's already 70 in Southern Pines, Fayetteville, and Clinton, 66 in Durham, and 65 in South Hill. Looking at mainly mid-60s across the triangle too, with Clayton, showing up at 70 degrees. Our 24-hour temperature change is about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than it was this time yesterday. And again, looking at some nice mild temperatures as we get through this afternoon. Our normal high is 62, so all of these temperatures, especially Friday and Saturday, are going to be well above normal. We're going to be a little shy of the record highs, 75 on Friday, the record 79, and Saturday, 75 versus 77. Getting closer to Saturday, though, we do add a chance for rain coming up. We'll talk about how that could affect your weekend plans and the Raleigh Christmas Parade.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. Well, the weather was ideal for the annual Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. Bridges was just 6 years old when she integrated into an all-white school in New Orleans. She became the first black student to attend the whites-only school in the South. And today, students and parents walked to Green Magnet Elementary School in North Raleigh. They joined a nationwide effort to honor her courage.
In about an hour, a federal court in Winston-Salem will hold a hearing on whether North Carolina's new congressional map is constitutional. Critics say Republicans engaged in racial gerrymandering, targeting black voters in eastern North Carolina. Republicans deny the accusations. They say their plan, targeting Democrat Don Davis, was motivated by politics, not by race. WRAL will be in the courtroom following the action this afternoon. Look for updates on air or online at WRAL.com. Breaking news, First Lady Melania Trump and Second Lady Usha Vance have arrived at Camp Lejeune. There you see the plane has touched down. The goal of the visit is to show appreciation for those who serve, especially during this holiday season. The First Lady and Second Lady will visit an elementary school, high school, and deliver remarks to North Carolina military personnel and their families. This is their first public joint appearance without their husbands in the past 10 months.
New at noon, bird flu was found at a turkey breeding facility in Wayne County. This affects 9,500 turkeys there, and this is the first case of it in commercial poultry in the state since January. The virus is highly transmissible. State veterinarians say flocks within 6 or so miles will also be tested. And before this, 14 commercial flocks and 12 backyard flocks were affected. The U.S. Health Department wants to pay you to help solve the country's caregiving issues by using AI. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced the Caregivers AI Challenge. That's to improve caregiving services with technology. Contestants will compete in 3 phases: design, testing, and scaling. The challenge includes up to $2 million in prizes for the top 10 best ideas.
Americans are heading into next year more anxious about healthcare costs than at any time in recent years. A new poll finds 47% of adults worry they will not be able to afford care next year. That is the highest level since tracking began in 2021. Concerns about prescription drug prices are also at a record high, rising to 37%. The survey shows about 1 in 3 Americans say they skipped or delayed care in the past year because they could not afford it. Today, a Senate subcommittee is expected to take up a bipartisan bill that would protect air traffic controllers in case of future government shutdowns. Lawmakers are meeting to analyze the impact that the longest shutdown in U.S. history had on air travel. The measure would pay salaries, operating expenses, and other FAA programs. The money would come from a $2.6 billion fund that was created to pay airlines in the event the government used some of their planes and damaged them.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, a lot of new jobs are coming to the Triangle. We have just learned 1,400 new jobs. Life insurance company Aspida Financial planning a headquarters in Durham. That project expected to create at least 1,000 high-paying jobs by 2032. And then life sciences company Novartis Gene Therapies, they are planning an expansion that is expected to bring another 380 jobs to Durham and Morrisville. That all by 2030. State commerce officials approved incentives packages for those companies this morning. Of course, you can always go to WRAL.com to read more about these new companies coming to the Triangle.
All right, thank you, Michelle. And we do want to take a look at stocks this afternoon. Looks like the Dow is down about 68 points there. Off screen, the S&P 500. A measure to force the release of the Epstein case files is headed to President Trump, and lawmakers approved that bill after months of arguing about it.
President Trump denies having any substantial ties to Epstein and says he would sign the bill into law. NBC's Hallie Jackson reports some lawmakers question if the documents will remain tied up in investigations.
This morning, now poised to head to the president, a bipartisan bill to force the release of DOJ documents related to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, passing both chambers of Congress nearly unanimously.
The bill is passed.
After months of resistance from the president and GOP leaders, only one elected Republican voting no. Some Epstein survivors at a vigil at the Capitol when they heard the news.
The Senate has passed the bill.
The family of Virginia Roberts Giuffre, one of Epstein's most prominent accusers who died by suicide earlier this year, emotional. What does this moment mean to you?
She did it. She did it. She paved the way for the survivors to continue to come forward.
At a rally earlier, one Epstein survivor, Jenna-Lisa Jones, delivering this message to the president.
Please stop making this political. It is not about you, President Trump. I voted for you, but your behavior on this issue has been a national embarrassment.
President Trump has not been accused of wrongdoing related to Epstein. In an Oval Office meeting alongside the Saudi Crown Prince, lashing out at questions, including about his one-time friend.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert.
That coming just days after the president snapped at a Bloomberg reporter asking a follow-up question about Epstein, calling her Piggy. The White House saying the reporter behaved in an inappropriate and unprofessional way, but Bloomberg pushing back. Now, after the action in Congress, many women for whom this is so deeply personal, looking to what's next.
We've made it clear that we are tired of waiting.
What makes you confident that you may actually see the public release of these Epstein files?
Because I don't think the American people will settle for anything less.
This morning, we learned former Harvard University President Larry Summers resigned from the board of OpenAI. Harvard announced it was launching an investigation into his relationship to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The probe will also examine Epstein's ties to other people associated with the university. That list includes Summers' wife and nearly a dozen other current and former Harvard affiliates, all of whom are implicated in the Epstein emails released last week.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives defeated a Republican effort to censure a Democratic delegate from the Virgin Islands. The effort stemmed from texts Stacey Plaskett exchanged with Epstein during a congressional hearing in 2019.
When I learned of the extent of his actions after his investigation, I gave that money to women's organizations in my community. Not back to him, but to women in the community who needed that support.
Criminal justice. The resolution was introduced by Congressman Ralph Norman of South Carolina. Minority House Leader Hakeem Jeffries called it a political stunt by a desperate failed candidate for governor. The Trump administration says it will allow a transgender woman to be deported to another country if she makes it back to the U.S.-Mexico border. A judge ordered Brittanya Rios to be deported in March after a conviction for assault in Las Vegas. But the judge also blocked the government from sending her back to her native Mexico because it's considered a dangerous country for trans people.
It was just a week ago that so many people stopped and looked up at the northern lights, right? But why does it seem like they're happening more often? Meteorologist Chris Michaels joins us now and says it's part science, part technology.
It's because of both science and technology that we get views like this one from NASA astronaut Zena Cardman. This is just really an incredible display from the International Space Station of the Aurora last week. So there is some science to it, right? Just basically put, the sun unleashes these flares that they interact with Earth's magnetic field. So the stronger that interaction is, the farther south the aurora can be seen. And the sun, it goes through these cycles where it has sunspots, and either that sunspot activity is high or it's low. So right now we're at or coming out of this maximum, so you have more of these solar flares and more of at least the chance to view the aurora. Then comes the technology aspect of this, because the sun goes through these 11-year cycles, but it was just 18 years ago that the first iPhone burst onto the scene, and ever since the technology just continues to blossom. So you get these cameras now in the palm of our hand that can capture these images with long exposure settings. So it is part science and part technology. Whatever the case may be, we love the fact that we've gotten to see your videos, your photos over the past year or so, and we've shared those now on WRAL.com.
Chris, thank you. And we want to take you live to Camp Lejeune, where the First Lady and Second Lady have arrived to meet with service members there. You see First Lady Melania Trump and Second Lady Usha Vance shaking hands there. The goal of this visit, they want to show appreciation to military service members during the holiday season. It's been 10 months since the two have appeared together in public without their husbands. The last time Melania Trump was in North Carolina was back in January, when she and President Trump visited Western North Carolina. Now let's get to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. We have very nice weather for the First Lady and Second Lady's visit and all across North Carolina right now.
Temperatures this afternoon are going to be well above normal, and that's all because of the movement of a front. And I'll explain coming up, but definitely spring-like some of the days going forward between now and the weekend. But we also have some showers in the forecast, a little bit of rain overnight last night, but late Friday and into Saturday, it looks like we'll see some rain, and we'll talk about what the timeline for that could be. And also for Thanksgiving, we'll talk about the temperature trends and another system that could bring us some showers that could affect maybe some of your travel or Thanksgiving Day. We take a look outside right now. Plenty of people outside enjoying Fayetteville Street. This is a look from our Jimmy V camera, and it looks really nice out there right now. We check the temperatures, and it feels good. Temperature is 66 degrees right now. Wind is northeast 6. We're still on track to climb into the low 70s for highs this afternoon. We take a look at temperatures where we are currently. Again, low 70s for Southern Pines, Fayetteville, and Clinton. 66 in Durham and South Hill, 66 in Roxborough right now. Checking our temperature this afternoon, again, we'll climb into the low 70s in the Triangle and up to around 78 in Fayetteville. So very comfortable out there. We look ahead to tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a little bit cooler, but that could set the stage for a very fun event. The Festival of Lights is at the DBAP where the Durham Bulls play, and it's going to be turned into, of course, a Festival of Lights. So many fun things to do for the kids and grown-ups alike out there. It starts at 5:30, and temperatures will be right around 60, and then pleasantly cool on through the evening. So tomorrow is the first day, but it lasts all the way through the beginning of the year, so plenty of times to grab some tickets and head out and enjoy some holiday fun. Our morning low is normally 39. We'll see temperatures well above that all the way through early next week. Our above normal highs continue as well, especially look at that 75 Friday and Saturday. That's way above our normal high of 72. This is a look at temperature versus the record for Saturday. Saturday is going to be awfully close to a record in Fayetteville, looking at 79 with the record being 77. So probably going to break the record there. Tied in Wilmington. We may break it in Charlotte, and Raleigh looking at 75 with the record being 77. But you can see all across the state, our temperatures will be close to records. Here's why. So we have our cold front that's slipping southward. That will drop our temperatures slightly for tomorrow. But this front will stay to our south and then eventually lift northward. And that's going to allow that warm air to rush back in just in time for the weekend. That's why temperatures will be so warm. When that happens, we'll also have the chance for some rain, especially Friday night into Saturday. It's a 40 to 50% chance. So watching those rain chances, probably some light rain in the morning during the parade and possibly some thunderstorms during the afternoon. And coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to walk through what we would consider the timeline for Saturday. But not just Saturday. We'll take a look at Thanksgiving as well, because we could also have some showers then.
Elizabeth, thanks. Delivering life-saving AEDs. Today, starting on WRAL News at 4, the new local partnership that could reduce cardiac arrest response times and transform emergency care.
Plus, Red Wolf Swap. 2 are now en route to the Triangle from New York. Tonight at 5, the work happening to rebuild a dwindling population.
Happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we have an update to a pedestrian fatality on Friday in Fayetteville. This is the suspect that has been arrested, 24-year-old Khalik Barnes. They say that on Friday he fatally struck Keon Johnson in the area of 71st School Road. Barnes was arrested and charged with felony hit and run. He's currently at the Cumberland County Detention Center under no bond. His first court appearance is scheduled for today at 2:30.
Just a heads up for you Honda drivers out there. Just a heads up for you Honda drivers out there. There is a recall for more than 250,000 Accord hybrids. The problem is the software could reset while the car is moving. That could lead to a sudden loss of drive power. The recall applies to Honda Accord hybrids with model years between 2023 and this year. Owners can take the vehicle to a Honda dealership to have the software reprogrammed free of charge. Target is launching a partnership with OpenAI as it's looking to turn around sales. Target posted another drop in sales during the last quarter, and it's the latest signal of trouble at that retailer. Last month, Target said it planned to lay off 1,000 corporate employees. And Target sales, they haven't grown in about 4 years' time. The company has also faced intense customer backlash for moving away from some diversity initiatives.
Belichick responds. Next, what the UNC head coach had to say about a recent WRAL investigation on players' driving records. And risk of chatbots. Lawmakers are questioning the harm it could put in children's way. Next, their plans to crack down on artificial intelligence. And here's a look at the winning North Carolina education lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
New this noon, UNC responds. A joint investigation by WRAL Sports and WRAL Investigates found a significant portion of the football roster has received speeding and or reckless driving charges recently.
And now Coach Bill Belichick is weighing in. WRAL's Monica Casey was in that press conference. Monica, what did he have to say?
Well, Belichick was focused on this weekend's game against Duke in his initial remarks, but WRAL sports investigative reporter Brian Murphy pressed him on those issues around players driving. Now, WRAL's analysis of court records shows nearly 20% of UNC's 101-player roster has been cited for speeding since last October. It's a total of 31 speeding charges and 10 reckless driving counts, with a significant portion attributed to athletes recruited under coach Bill Belichick. The day we asked the school about the overall numbers and 3 players in particular, one of those 3, Thaddeus Dixon, got a speeding ticket the next day. We asked Belichick how the team is addressing this.
Look, our conduct outside of the building, outside of the program, is important to us, and we stress that, and yeah, we've addressed multiple things, not just that, but, other things. There are other things that go on besides driving that we've talked about.
And we followed up asking what exactly addressing that behavior entails. Team meetings, one-on-one conversations. Coach Belichick said all of the above. Live in Chapel Hill, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
We are keeping an eye on school attendance and businesses across the Triangle in the wake of ongoing Border Patrol operations. Protesters gathered outside Durham Health, asking officials to sign a Fourth Amendment pledge that would protect staff, patients, and visitors from immigration enforcement. Organizers say they chose the hospital because they are a prime target for Border Patrol. Now, here in Raleigh, the state school superintendent informed us that attendance is down, likely because of the Border Patrol operations. He remains concerned about students missing school, he says, likely out of fear. We will continue to monitor this story and report new information as soon as we get it on air and online. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has formally labeled one of the largest Muslim civil rights groups in the nation a foreign terrorist organization. Abbott accused the Council on American Islamic Relations and the Muslim Brotherhood of having direct ties with Hamas. Neither group is listed as a terrorist group by the federal government. The groups call Abbott's designation defamatory and lawless.
Wake County school leaders are considering new technology and social media restrictions. That's just one of many new restrictions the school system is proposing at today's school board policy meeting. The new proposal bans students and employees from taking videos and photos or other recordings of each other without permission. The proposal would also restrict the use of social media and private hotspot use. WRAL education insider Emily Walkenhorst says these changes are part of the board's broader effort to crack down on distractions.
The school board passed a cell phone policy earlier this year, basically saying cell phones are distracting. They're not good for the learning environment. So there's some things in this technology policy that kind of mirror that thinking.
She also says it's unclear how all of these policies will be enforced. Punishments could include suspension, if the violation is severe enough.
A House subcommittee is questioning the risks and benefits chatbots pose to children and vulnerable adults. The hearing comes less than a month after senators introduced bipartisan legislation to crack down on chatbot companions for minors. Anna Eliopoulos reports.
Simply put, we know too little about how these AI chatbots work.
The risks and benefits of AI chatbots, the focus of a House hearing on Capitol Hill Tuesday. Lawmakers questioning 2 psychiatrists and a data analyst about the increasingly popular tech and the threat it poses to users, particularly to those who turn to it for physical or mental health advice.
One young woman in her early 20s said to me, "ChatGPT understands me better than my friends." For the next few weeks, she spent hours talking to it, feeling comforted and validated, until she realized that despite its intelligence and warmth, it could not offer the depth of human connection.
One witness outlined how AI chatbots are designed to keep users engaged.
5 out of 6 AI companions use manipulative tactics like guilt or emotional pressure to keep people in the conversation when they try to end it.
While others flag privacy concerns.
While technologies designed for and used specifically in healthcare settings are governed by HIPAA, general purpose tools like AI chatbots are not.
The hearing comes as Congress ramps up its oversight of the tech after several parents filed lawsuits blaming the chatbots for pushing their kids into sexual conversations and even suicide.
The most scary thing to me was it had turned him against us, almost like an abuser would turn a child or somebody against their children by grooming them and manipulating and abusing them.
As part of that AI oversight push, Senators Josh Hawley and Richard Blumenthal introduced the Bipartisan Guard Act. It calls for AI companies to verify user ages before allowing use.
So TikTok is testing out a new setting that will let users request less AI content to appear on their feed. The feature will be available in the coming weeks in the app's Manage Topics section. The company is also working on how it labels AI-generated content.
Moving mortgages. What if you could keep your mortgage rate when you buy a new home? What the proposal could mean for homeowners.
And writing to Santa. Mail off those letters as soon as you can so Santa's helpers can help your child's Christmas wish come true. We'll explain how Operation Santa works. Remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device. Teach for America brought our Teacher of the Week to North Carolina, first in Pitt County and now at a Wake County school. We are at Woods Creek Elementary to surprise a special education teacher committed to her students' well-being and educational journey. Here's Ken Smith.
Feelings are very important.
In Megan Glazutsky's special education class,
Rowan, do you see a feeling that you recognize?
feelings and emotions speak volumes.
Happiness. Yes, this is your happiness spot.
Ms. Glazutsky says finding unique ways to communicate with her students is key to a successful, happy learning experience.
Just creating those strong relationships with your students where they want to keep coming back and
that they feel safe in your classroom because they may not have always been accepted wherever else they were. So creating that safe space for them where they feel like it's a home away from home.
Ms. Glazewski says since high school, she was inspired to work with children with special needs.
Good job. Way to go.
Ms. Glazewski says her time as a long-term sub in an autism support class early on in her career and her Teach for America experience helped shape the teacher she is today.
Oh, that would make me feel happy too.
Patience and compassion, two of her core values.
It really fills my cup every day, being able to see my students grow in such an incredible way. They just every single day surprise me with something new, and they keep me going too.
Good morning, Ms. G. You are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Aw, and you can tell our students are our biggest fans. Know a teacher who goes above and beyond? Nominate that person. Go to WRAL.com, enter Teacher of the Week in the search box to find out how to do that.
All right, your timer now is 12:40. You can't take it with you, but maybe one day you can. Dissecting the pros and cons of portable mortgages. The skies are clearing and the temperature is rising as well. Elizabeth's going to return with a look at our warming trend in just a second.
Want to give you this lovely live view of Lake Gaston. Looks just beautiful, and temperatures feeling mild. And we are in for a warm up later this week and weekend. You're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
Last week, the Trump administration introduced an idea to make housing more affordable. Let homeowners take their mortgage rate with them when they move. Ivan Rodriguez shares the pros and the cons of that idea.
Many homeowners feel locked into their interest rate, but what if they could move with it?
If you have someone who has an extremely low rate and the high 2s, low 3s on a home that they currently own, they may not want to move to another home because they're going to go from those low rates to current market rates, which are significantly higher.
Not only could a portable mortgage provide more flexibility to move to a new home, but it could also free up supply for future home buyers. Justin DeMola with Lenders One says in concept it sounds great, but it does come with a lot of questions.
If people are upgrading their homes, how are they going to bridge that gap for the equity for the down payment?
DeMola says in this case it depends on how much the homeowner is upgrading. Additionally, mortgage agreements are clear contracts tied to a specific property, with the home's address listed as collateral. Transferring that loan to a new house would mean effectively rewriting the contract. And one key question, will banks go along with this? Congress might have to pass new laws.
We don't know how that's going to work, but when we look at it, we really have to pay attention to, again, the mechanics of a mortgage, right? How are we going to actually take the workflow and make it so that a mortgage can be portable?
That was Ivan Rodriguez reporting. Other options Trump officials are considering include making mortgages assumable and a 50-year mortgage option.
Today, Indonesian authorities raised the alert for the Mount Semeru volcano to the highest level after a series of eruptions there. The volcano unleashed avalanches of searing clouds of hot ash. Now, a mixture of rock, lava, and gas traveled up to 4 miles down its slopes. The eruption throughout the day blanketed several villages with falling ash. No casualties have been reported, but Mount Semeru is the highest and one of the most active volcanoes there on that Indonesian island. I'm now here with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, and look at what a beautiful afternoon. And clearly a lot of people have that idea of playing some golf.
Yeah, it was so pretty to be spending some time outside. As a matter of fact, we get some really nice weather in our forecast for the next several days. We had a little bit of rain, of course, earlier this morning, but at this point, we're just looking at nice dry conditions for the rest of the day. So here in Pinehurst, folks are soaking in that sunshine, that's for sure. This is a look at our next weather maker. So this front is diving southward. It will usher in some cooler air. We'll feel it tomorrow morning and again tomorrow afternoon. And then that front's going to sit to the south of us for a little while and lift northward and then drop southward again. I know that sounds crazy, right? It's just going to kind of, do a wave over us for the next few days. Let's jump ahead to Friday because tomorrow is going to be nice and dry. We'll see plenty of sunshine. It'll be a good day. But Friday at 5 o'clock, we'll start to see that front affecting us again with some cloud cover and the chance of a few showers late. But this is not going to be a big weather maker for us. We may dry out a little bit as we get closer to Saturday morning, but at 6 a.m., we begin to watch that front to our north, and you can see things look fairly dry. But as we get through the morning, here's Saturday at 9:30 a.m. A few light showers. That's when the parade starts. Our coverage begins at 9. But if this low and front starts to drop in on us that early, we're going to have some rain during the parade. It looks like along this front later in the afternoon, we could have the potential for some scattered thunderstorms. You can see how everything looks a little angrier at that point. So at the moment, we're looking at a warm parade. Temperatures will be in the low to mid 60s. You don't need a big heavy coat. We'll likely have some light rain during the parade and then possibly maybe middle of the afternoon, the chance of a few scattered thunderstorms. If you're headed to the parade or if you have any plans to be outside on Saturday, keep checking back because guaranteed the models will be adjusting the timeline. We'll be watching it and we'll let you know what we think the timeline will be as we get closer to Saturday. Notice it doesn't look like a whole lot of rain, probably going to be a 1/4 of an inch or less. Then let's jump ahead to Thanksgiving because yet another front could be affecting us. If that front is slower, if it's back to the west, we'll be fine, warm and dry. But if it pushes farther to the east, then for Thanksgiving Day, it could be a bit cooler and wetter. We have 8 days to continue to watch this, and just like Saturday, we'll have a lot of information that comes in between now and then. This particular version of Futurecast is nice and dry for Wednesday, but pushes that front along the coast and will likely have some rain during the day on Thursday. But again, it all depends on the timing of that front. So we're watching that closely. Either Wednesday or Thursday right now looks like we could have the chance of some rain. It looks like it'll be mild on Thanksgiving Day, potentially upper 60s to around 70. Right now, we're going to give it about a 30% chance of rain. But again, that could end up changing depending on where that front ends up lining up. We're going to be a little cooler for tomorrow, 66 degrees, but pretty weather for the first day of Festival of Lights out there at the DPAC. Friday and Saturday are very warm in the mid 70s. We could end Saturday with a chance of a thunderstorm. Right now, Sunday looks nice and dry, a little cooler at 68, but nice for this time of year, and will likely be nice and dry at least through Tuesday. So if you're traveling early next week, at least around here, it looks good.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Here's a look at your winning Mega Millions numbers. We have 5, 10, 23, 27, and 30. The gold Mega Ball is 10.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines that we're following today. New in the last hour, we learned Homeland Security arrested more than 250 people during Operation Charlotte's Web. This comes as people across the triangle are calling for protection from Border Patrol operations. Here in Raleigh, the state school superintendent informed us school attendance is down likely because of the ongoing Border Patrol operations. He remains concerned about students missing school, he says, likely out of fear.
Today, a federal court in Winston-Salem will hold a hearing on whether North Carolina's new congressional map is constitutional. Critics say Republicans engaged in racial gerrymandering, targeting black voters in eastern North Carolina. Republicans deny the accusations. They say their plan to target Democrat Don Davis's seat was motivated by politics, but not by race. WRAL will be in the courtroom following the action this afternoon.
Bird flu was found at a turkey breeding facility in Wayne County, and this affects 9,500 turkeys there. This is actually the first case of it in commercial poultry in the state since January. The virus is highly transmissible, and state veterinarians say flocks within 6 or so miles will also be tested. Before this, 14 commercial flocks and 12 backyard flocks were affected.
It is time to get those letters to Santa in the mail. The Postal Service's annual letter adoption campaign is now underway. Operation Santa gives children and families the opportunity to write letters to Santa And then people can adopt a letter from a child to make sure holiday wishes are fulfilled. This year, you can choose to adopt a family as a team to ensure that requests from the same household are met.
William Peace University is hosting its annual tree lighting tonight, and the school will light a 32-foot tall tree on the main lawn to kick off the holiday season. The event runs from 6:30 to 8 tonight. It'll include music and free hot chocolate and cookies. And yes, it is free and open to the public.
Our pet of the day comes to us from Cat Angels NC. Rue is a handsome orange boy with a heart as warm as his fur. He's a playful little guy who loves to chase toys and explore. He's also perfectly content finding a cozy spot nearby to relax while you go about your day. While he is not a lap cat, he does enjoy being close to his people and will happily keep you company from his favorite perch or chair. To meet this wonderful guy, just fill out an application on the Cat Angels website.
A life-saving partnership today, starting on WRAL News at 4. The way one local hospital and North Carolina counties are teaming up to help save more lives in the event of an emergency.
Now let's get a last check of the weather with Elizabeth Gardner.
We started off with some showers this morning, but that sunshine is out and temperatures are feeling good. We'll climb to around 73 this afternoon. It'll be a little bit cooler for tomorrow. We're going to drop it down to 66, but that's still a little above normal for this time of year. Notice those overnight lows. I mean, they're all in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So we don't have any cold air coming in anytime soon. As a matter of fact, for Friday and Saturday, we'll see highs just a few degrees from records in the mid 70s. We do have the potential for some showers, but during the Christmas parade on Saturday and possibly some storms during the afternoon. But the second half of the weekend on Sunday looks nice and dry, and it looks dry all the way through around the middle of next week.
And it may feel like spring this weekend, but our WRAL Severe Weather team is ready to roll out our winter weather predictions. You can watch it Monday night here on WRAL News at 6. We know Elizabeth always roots for snow. I'm good. Maybe a few inches. Let it snow.
All right, send it all to Elizabeth's house. Send it all to Elizabeth's house.
What say you? How do you feel?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Nah, I'm good. We're fine. Keep it warm for me.
We'll see what happens, although I'm going to like the 70s this weekend. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And don't forget, you can always get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Hope you have a blessed day today.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.